These days, action RPGs are a dime a dozen. Whether they're hack and slash, button mashers, Diablo clones, Souls-like, action JRPGs, roguelike dungeon crawlers, or any other form the genre can take, there's no shortage of options. For an RPG fiend like myself, this is exciting because I can never get enough of them. On the other hand, it can be tough to determine which ones are worth playing since there's so many to choose from. Here's a first look at Empyreal, an upcoming action RPG based on my first 6 hours of gameplay. This overview should give you a basic understanding of what the game offers. Hopefully. But real quick, escape the monolith of the gaming echo chamber by heading over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames. There you'll gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community, enjoy early ad-free shows, get a shout out at the end of every video we produce, and our podcast 3 days early, so much more. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. Developed by Silent Games and published by Secret Mode, Empyreal is a Western-style action RPG that blends fantasy and sci-fi elements. At its core is a mysterious monolith, containing ruins and technology from an ancient advanced civilization. Powerful automatons, built with capabilities far beyond those of the present, guard its depths and remain hostile to intruders. The story follows Maurice Lavelle, a project manager for the Duquesne Company, who receives a letter from his grandfather explaining the monolith's significance. Within it may lie the key to understanding existence, non-existence, and life itself. The letter also foretells that once the monolith is opened, those drawn to its power will flock to explore its depths. Despite a catastrophic first expedition that cost many lives, the Duquesne Company pressed forward. Their efforts continue when a mercenary, your custom-created character, insists on taking up the challenge. The character creation system is fairly basic, but offers a nice variety of skin tones, facial features, facial hair, makeup options, and even scars to make your mercenary look more battle-hardened. There are no restrictions on any features based on character gender, so if you want to create a bearded woman with purple hair and heavy makeup like I did, you can do that here. You can also choose a character background, which determines both your personality and starting gear. Your personality has a significant impact on the game, shaping your dialogue options as your choices matter. NPCs can warm up to you and learn to trust you, or they may keep their distance depending on how you interact with them in conversation. The gear you use, most importantly your weapon, determines the kind of class you'll play as. For example, to have a more agile character, you could wield a sword, which also allows you to use dodge mechanics, a teleporting jump attack, and deflect attacks. The combat is fun, though also very technical, so be aware that this is not one of those action RPGs where you can succeed through button mashing. You'll need to get your timing down and learn how to strategically use consumables, which provide buffs. They can also be used as ranged attacks and heal you. Healing is gradual and works more like a regeneration effect, so applying a healing item preemptively before fighting a boss could be useful. You'll have special abilities with cooldown periods between uses, along with powerful attacks that can only be unleashed after accumulating enough energy during extended battles. Finding the right combination of gear, abilities, and consumables to suit your playstyle will require some trial and error, but experimenting to discover what works best is an enjoyable part of the experience. The monolith itself functions much like a puzzle box. Venturing too far inside will send you back to its entrance unless you have a cartogram, which allows travel to specific areas within the monolith. Each cartogram contains a distinct area to explore and concludes with a boss encounter. The structure of these areas is reminiscent of the missions in Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core, where using a cartogram transports you to a designated zone with a clear objective. In this case, the goal is to explore the area, gather resources, defeat a boss, and return to base. While there are no maps within the monolith, the areas assigned through cartograms are relatively small, meaning you likely won't have to worry about navigating through an overwhelming or confusing dungeon. Even though this is a single-player game, there are ways to contribute to other players' experiences. After defeating a boss in the monolith, a rift in the ether will appear, giving you the option to donate a randomly selected, unidentified piece of gear. If you do, the item will receive a stat boost and appear in another player's game. You will also occasionally come across fallen mercenaries in the monolith, where you can choose to donate a reset charge. If you do, another player who dies will get a second chance, instantly reviving instead of respawning at a checkpoint or base camp. In a time when hostility in gaming communities can be all too common, it's refreshing to see features like this that encourage helping others. These mechanics reinforce the idea that players should support one another, a sentiment echoed by the wise words of Bill and Ted. be excellent to each other. Each cartogram also has a difficulty level assigned to it, so be sure to take that into consideration before diving in. Between cartogram runs, in the monolith you can visit the quartermaster, who both buys and sells items. You also have the option to invest money into his stock, allowing him to carry better items in the future. There's also a shop run by a lizard which sells a random assortment of offerings. This shop has the potential for powerful gear early in the game, so it's worth checking out to see if you get lucky. Additionally, a blacksmith can identify the unidentified gear you find in the monolith, allowing you to use it. He also provides gear modifications and can unlock new abilities, provided you meet the necessary financial and item-based criteria. Empyreal has a vibe reminiscent of Western RPGs on the Xbox 360, and I mean that in a good way. Games don't need cutting-edge graphics to be fun or engaging, and they certainly aren't in the case of Empyreal, but it still manages to offer a charming presentation that stands out a bit from the crowd. The character models look great, the voice acting is solid, and while the music isn't particularly memorable, it suits the atmosphere well. The gameplay loop, venturing on cartogram-based adventures, is incredibly fun and quickly becomes addictive. With everything Empyreal has going for it, fans of dungeon crawling in short bursts and technical challenging combat will find plenty to enjoy. However, there were some downsides that I encountered during my playtime. While the core gameplay and premise are solid, there were technical issues related to optimization and bugs. When I first played, I experienced significant lag and frame rate drops, an issue that's especially problematic in action RPGs with mechanics like parrying and perfect dodging. I had to set my video settings to the lowest possible to get the game running smoothly. My rig certainly runs more demanding games like Lies of P and Elden Ring without issue, so I believe this was likely an optimization problem. Fortunately, the game has been updated since I've been playing it, and going back, I haven't encountered quite the same amount of performance problems, which suggests the developers are aware of these issues and working on improvements. I also ran into a few strange bugs. One occurred when I tried to open my inventory just before entering a boss chamber, causing the game to crash. Another happened during a boss fight, where the screen unexpectedly switched from full screen to a much smaller windowed mode before returning to full screen again. But aside from these technical issues, my experience with Empyreal so far has been very positive. If the bugs and optimization problems are resolved, the game has the potential to be really fun. This is definitely one to keep an eye on. If you enjoy action RPGs with challenging technical combat and short dungeon-based explorations, this will likely be well worth your time. Thanks for watching as always, and voice to the voiceless. See you in the next video. For far too long, you, the gamer, have been denied honest gaming coverage. Indie developers and publishers have lost their voice, but no longer. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames to join this epic campaign for indie visibility. The echo chamber trembles as our message grows louder. Voice to the voiceless!